everyone. My name is Scott Nance, and I'm thrilled to be hosting Half Hour with Ted Lasso, winner of 2 back-to-back Emmy Awards for Outstanding Comedy Series. And boy, did it deserve those 2 Emmy Awards. Joining us for the conversation today, please welcome Toheeb Jimoh, Kola Bokinni, Billy Harris, and Cristo Fernandez. Welcome, everybody, and thanks for joining us here on Half Hour With.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Scott.
Scott.
Everyone
Thanks
just
for having
at the
us.
same time.
There you go. Starting off already. I love it. So, Cristo, just want to start off with you. Just give us a quick overview of where AFC Richmond goes in season 3.
The season 3 starts with us we being back at the top and at the Premier League, and then also struggling a little bit because we're the underdog. And but I mean, we hopefully this new season kicks off with new teammates and new vibes, and we can make the impossible possible.
Toheeb, let's go to you next. After coming off seasons 1 and 2, which keep topping each other, like, let's talk about like the depth of season 3, how this really becomes more of an acting ensemble, even more than season 2. What was it like coming back into season 3 with so many significant changes?
Oh man, it's been amazing. I think as a young actor coming onto the show, every season I'm just completely surprised by the amount that we're trusted with, and just like the challenges that we're given. And you're right, season 3, as an actor, it feels like there's a lot to grapple with, and there's a lot of meaty scenes, there's a lot of meaty ideas to discuss and to throw up in the air. And we're at a place now where we understand the show, we know what we want to talk about, and we're not shying away from it anymore. And as an actor, that's I think any of these guys would agree, like, that's your sweet spot, that's where you want to be. And especially when you're talking about stuff that's so topical and current. Like, I think I always wanted to be at a place in my work where the stuff that I was doing had direct relationship and influence with stuff that's happening currently in the world, and Ted Lasso affords us more than enough opportunities to do that.
There's stuff that keeps happening in the world, so we've been lucky enough, to be able to have current topics, that all the stuff that's happening in the world, to kind of just cherry pick, because the world isn't doing the best work at the moment. so we've been able to.
You're right, bro. Like, it's what I find really surprising is we'll do stuff, and we filmed these scenes months and months and months ago, and then it feels like every episode that's just about to drop, something will happen in the real world a week before, and it's almost like we wrote it in direct relation to whatever current events are happening.
When fiction meets reality.
So it really just speaks to how on the pulse our writing team are, and how wonderful an opportunity it is to have this TV show that can speak to so many different current events.
Do you get the sensation, Kola, that because of the success that the first 2 seasons had, that Brendan and Jason and the rest of the writers just had more confidence to take bigger swings and make season 3 the most ambitious season yet?
I just think their egos just got massive. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, season 1, it was new, hadn't been done before, and everyone was obviously entered it with a little bit of hesitation, a little bit of uncertainty, and then when it had the success, it gave them kind of like license to actually do it at their will and let their creative juices flow, and it's evident in where the seasons have gone, and there's not many times in acting does that happen, where you get that sort of license. But it has happened. And
I think as well, like, going from Kola, I think that from the beginning that you've always seen that from the writers that they've always had like that they have a mission in a way that, you know, and it does feel that when you're on the Ted Lasso set and you get these scripts come through, it feels like almost like a utopia of what you would want in the real world. You know, you see from episode to episode, it's like, okay, wow, if we in our society could just, you know, lend a little bit off of these writers and what we're trying to do in Ted Lasso, it would be a better place.
I think I'd also like to add to that, Scott. Like, I mean, as much as the show really like ballooned and you know, like none of us really expected the response that it got and how impactful it was for people, you know, like a couple of, like we were all at the White House, and I don't think any of us when we started season 1 expected to be in the Oval Office talking to the president. But I will say that I don't think the show would have been any different without that. Like, these guys knew what they wanted to do from the beginning, and they had their 3-season plan from the beginning, and all of this stuff was just as important to them, with or without, you know, all of the success and the accolades and the awards and stuff. I feel like the storytelling is the most important thing, and they've always had that from the beginning. You know, because the AFC Richmond world is so like supportive, and that locker room is such a supportive environment, it kind of feels like our fan base is the same. Like, you know, whenever we run into Ted Lasso fans, like it always just feels like we're being, you know, renewed with like positivity. And like, I haven't ran into a negative Ted Lasso. I haven't had a negative Ted Lasso fan experience. And
I don't think you can be a negative Ted Lasso.
No.
That's why, you know, when we're out on the street, like, you know, everyone that comes up to us, we just know we're going to have a decent conversation because they watched the show and they loved the show. So they're similar to us.
Twitter tries their best.
In terms of the positivity, Cristo, even Danny just has you know, a much deeper season 3 than the previous year. What was your take on just how, you know, all of the outside things that are going on with the team and like with the restaurant and you know, and what Sam has to face, and you all come together? What was your take on just how profound things got for Danny?
Yeah, I mean, again, just writers are geniuses, and this season 3, what I like about it is that we've got to know more all of the characters we love, and we've got deeper with each one of them, and that's why it's so enjoyable to watch this season 3 now, because you learn much more from all of them. And in terms of Danny, yeah, it's been a journey, and at the beginning, just the positive, charismatic, good vibes guy, and then season 2 more of a real person who struggles with things just like all of us, and overcomes things, and especially with the topic of mental health. And I think, yeah, season 3, there's much more to talk about him, and I just feel like for Danny, this season 3, he's become somehow the guy that creates the vibe in the locker room, and everyone. So he's like in the center, and everyone gets a little bit of his vibe, and then helps everyone go in the journey. And I'm just grateful the writers gave those moments to Danny, and also those amazing jokes. For me, it's a privilege that these guys are the funny people in the world. They trust me with some of the funniest lines, and I'm glad that the tulips and all of those moments have worked out.
Okay, so you've said how the writers are geniuses, which they most definitely are. You've also said how the writers and producers, you know, had a plan, and, you know, for season 1 to season 2 to season 3. But Billy, I have to say, I am watching season 3, and I was like, whoa, I did not see that coming. Okay. And then there's the scene with Trent, and I went, whoa, I did not see that coming. So I have to ask you, like, what was it like for you when that moment came for your character, and, you know, you and James, like, doing the scene together? I mean, this is a very, very pivotal moment for Ted Lasso, for the series.
Yeah, I think, there has been the beauty of carrying on this show for so long, which is another 3rd season, is that, you really get to see an insight into all of the characters. And I think that I've been lucky enough in this series that, you know, the lens is turned on to Colin, and, you're seeing his life outside of AFC Richmond. It was mainly Colin was just, you know, one of the guys in the locker room, and then, you know, open up into episode 3, and he's in a bed, and you go down, and then you see him with a guy, and I think that's great. And I think that, as you said, that, you know, that with Ted Lasso, that what I love about it is that you can laugh in the same scene. You can watch a scene and you can be laughing and then crying at the same time. And I think there's such a great, you know, mix. And yeah, but once I got that storyline, you know, once I found out that was something we were going to do, I found out in season 2. But, you know, I think that we were adamant, and I was, and so was the writers, that we wanted to just let Colin carry on, just being one of the guys in the locker room. Because I think that's what's heartbreaking about it, is that you haven't really, for 3 years now, you haven't really seen the true Colin. And so that was something that we were going to make sure that we tackled in series 3. And yeah, I think that, yeah, it's such an important storyline.
Tell me a little bit. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead there.
About time, I was gonna say, you know.
Yeah. And I was just gonna add, like, beautifully acted. Like, it's one of those moments where you really sit down, and I think, like, we all have, like, moments like this, you know, as a company, because there's so many of us. So every now and then you just go, wow, like, we are really surrounded by some extraordinarily talented people. Like both James and Billy, that scene was gorgeous. But then you've also got, like, Brett and Phil. They're, like, together. They're
gonna
like
say Toheeb. He's gonna say Toheeb. He's gonna say Toheeb Jimoh. He's gonna.
But that was it. Do you know what? Like, I was watching episode 6, and then thinking about all the amazing stuff that was in it, and then I knew Toheeb's scene was coming in episode 7. You know, with, like, the speech that he gives to the locker room, and I'm like, I'm the exact same as Toheeb. I'm like, what is this cast?
I think he really enjoyed barging me in that scene. He was like, "Can I do one more? Can I do one more? There's one more." They're like, "Toheeb, we got it. We have it." He's like, no, but I feel like I can do one more. And I was just like, my shoulder was gonna I'm gonna move your shoulder after this.
But that was like what I love seeing is that when it's like, say, our, like, moments of, you know, that, you know, we have to do some really, you know, either important acting or things that, you know, that are going to mean lots to a lot of people. The writers, the directors, they really hone in that, as we're an ensemble, but there comes a time where you can see, like, Jason just, you know, honing in on, this is Toheeb's bit, this is Cola's, this is Cristo's, this is Billy's bit, this is Phil's. And I love watching that, you know, because then that, you know, that gives us space to then, you know, do all of our improv, you know, be sort of silly, funny in the background, but then there's real issues here at play, and they have such respect for all of the storylines.
Can you tell me just a little bit about filming that scene? Like, how many takes did you guys do? And, you know, did you try it like a couple different ways to see, like, which gelled better?
Yeah, I think it took 3 takes. That was, and I remember, I can see that the good one was the last one, and I remember that. I remember just, it was about 2 a.m. and I just went, let's. It was 2 a.m. in Amsterdam, and I thought, yeah, let's just go with it. I think I was maybe being a little bit more cautious because I just knew the storyline was so important, and I think maybe for the first take and the second take, I was just kind of saying it matter of factly. But then I was just like, the third take, I was like, this is Colin's truth, and he just wants to live a normal life, and, you know, this is, you know, and as he said, he doesn't want to be a spokesperson. He feels like it's impossible for 2 lives to merge. And then as I started to really, you know, get the lines down, get the words down, I just felt more and more heartbroken for him. And, you know, and then that kind of, you know, but then the thing is that he played it just like I played it for Colin, that this is his truth. So he doesn't feel it as heartbreaking. It's just like, this is my life, you know. And then I'm like there as the actor, like nearly crying, but I can't cry for Colin because, you know, like Colin in the moment is like, I can't do anything about this.
Yeah. And James was also just magnificent. I can't wait to talk to him about the scene as well.
Yeah, his cutaways and just the way that he was listening. I think that you know, he was brilliant.
Okay, so Toheeb, I gotta say, so last season, you know, the dynamic with you and Hannah was just so good. Sam's storyline last season was so good. And now this season, you get to go in a different direction and just face even more challenges. You know, last season we heard Sam's father. Now we meet him. And then Sam is dealing with all this, like, backlash because of a tweet. I mean, what was it like for you this season? And specifically, Toheeb, how much how involved were you with the development of Sam's storyline?
Do you know what is funny is usually on Ted Lasso, like a lot of it is just, you know, you guys are just amazing. You're geniuses. Go away and do whatever you need to do, and I'll pull up and I'll do my bit. For season 3, I remember Joe Kelly, before we started, even before they started, while they were in the writers' room, Joe, one of our, you know, exec producers and creators, messaged me and he was like, you know, what do you want to see for Sam? And one of the things that I spoke to him about was, you know, we get to, like, Ted Lasso can sometimes feel like this utopia universe where like the best of humanity is constantly on show. And I felt like, you know, in the second season, we got to see Sam be very politically involved and very politically active and very outspoken. And, you know, I kind of felt like there's a truth to that, but also what comes with that is, you know, like when you hold truth to power, like powerful people don't usually take stuff like that lying down. And so what I really wanted to see was to see Sam, this like really optimistic, really joyful, happy kid, have to deal with some of the consequences of his political activism. And thankfully we got that. I remember Joe sent me a text and it was a picture of a Post-it note and it said, Sam, mad as hell. And that's what he said. And I was like, okay, cool, I don't know what's coming. But, you know, like I sent him loads of stuff that I wanted to see in season 3. Thankfully, all of them are in there. I won't tell you what's what because some of it's still to come and stuff. But this is also like, yeah, like they're amazing. Anything you want to do, like they're willing to help you make. And so, yeah, like getting to do that, the whole episode actually, like Sam's relationship with his dad, but also, you know, coming into that restaurant and it's been vandalized. And I remember Jason said to me, like, as Sam comes into that locker room, I can budge Kola on the shoulder. I can hit Isaac as hard as I want. I can yell at these guys as hard as much as I want. I can give all of it to them because they can take it. You know, like you were saying, like this is a safe space for Sam. And for me, like I think that's the thing that came full circle from season 1 to season 3 is in the first season, he's this kid away from home, hasn't really found his place, hasn't really found his family in AFC Richmond, and you know, is a bit disjointed. And by the 3rd season, you know, he's at a place now where he can store up all of this frustration and just give it to his family. You know, like that's his team, that's his family. And I think that moment where I turn around and Nonzo's there, you know, Sam's dad's there, is, yeah, like it's heartbreaking. And I think, like Billy was saying, like your heart breaks for these characters because, you know, I've spent 4 years being this guy, like playing Sam, and anything that's important to him is important to me now. Like it gets to a point where you can't even differentiate yourself from your character because it's like I'm the biggest advocate for Sam, and seeing something that important to him, yeah, it's important to me too. And I thought that scene was really awesome. And more than anything, I was just glad that I had an opportunity to speak to something that I really cared about and that my character really cared about.
Mm-hmm. Well, talk about the actor who plays your father, Nanzo. He's you know, he's so good. You know, we only heard his voice last year, and he was just so lovely in this season.
Powerhouse. Like so much of that scene was so much easier to do because as soon as I hug Nonso and like, because his voice is so deep, like I'm hugging him and he goes, "It's okay." And when I tell you, like I felt that in my entire body. And he's hilarious. You know, his scene with Rebecca, with Hannah, where he's
that's great.
What about you? He's amazing. He's amazing and the sweetest man in real life. I think it's such a difficult thing to join a company like this, especially on a show that's like doing this well and has so many people already involved. To come in on a season 3 and to make your leave your mark in this way is no easy task, and it really takes a powerhouse of an actor and a veteran, someone like Lonzo, to just come in and execute. And I thought the same thing for Max as well, who plays Zava. It's not an easy thing to walk into a season 3 of a very successful show and just, you know, hit the ground running. And both of them did that in such a brilliant way.
But also, Toheeb, sorry, saying about Max, I remember, and it's such like a core memory of like all of us meeting Max for the first time, and we were in the hallway down our locker rooms, down our dressing rooms, and every single one of us, we all greeted him. We were so excited.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe another cast might be like, oh, who's this new guy? You know, oh, there's a new cast member. You know, he's a footballer. Is he going to take our lines? Is he going to do this?
Yeah.
Every single person greeted him. And I remember standing there thinking, wow, what a good bunch of guys. Because Max, I remember him saying that he was nervous. He was a fan of the show, and then meeting us all, you know. And I just think it's so nice, man. We were so excited to meet him. Yeah,
when you were all talking about Max, Crystal, you were nodding your head, smiling, going, "Yeah." I would love to hear like how.
Good times.
Yeah, good times. Tell us about it.
No, I mean, it was so cool to have those scenes with Max, and and he's an amazing guy. He's an amazing actor, and even as a joke, he was saying that there's always an a-hole, and in this set there's no a-hole. So I think I must be the a-hole, but like that. But that's because I think it comes from the people who are in charge. I think they really take care of who comes in, and they know who each one of us are, and yeah, we have a big responsibility with the topics we talk about, and I what I love is also like the main topic is kindness. So many times, so many people with the storylines and things, they go like, I truly thought, for example, James Trent Cream was gonna put it out there that Colin is this, and then I truly thought Rebecca was gonna do this mean thing. But what I found impressive is that the storylines develop just with kindness, and even now, like Sam's dad goes like, "You fight back with forgiveness," and I just think all of those things stay with us, and that's why we are so we try our best to be the nice people, and especially when someone comes on set that is new. And I had lots of fun playing those things also with Zava, and I think Danny also represents that inner child that we all have, and seeing Danny behaving like a kid when Max was around, where Zava was around, that was so much fun.
So Cole, I want to ask about, look, one of the things I really love about season 3 is how all these relationships get shaken up. There's new dynamics to each relationship, with Jack and Keely, with Roy and Jamie, like now they're best buddies. And even Nate, I mean, Krista, you talk about the kindness, like, we're seeing Nate, who we hated at the end of season 2 and at the beginning of season 3, like there's a kindness there. So Colin, my question is that working with writers like Brandon and obviously Jason and so on, like what's it like working with them now, seeing the evolution of the series, and especially with this season taking bigger swings? Like, what was it like working with them and seeing them do things that they didn't do in seasons 1 and 2?
Well, if they did the same things they did in season 1 and 2, I would think they're a bit mad.
Yeah.
They do the exact same show, and everyone would be like, "What's going on?" So, well, it's always a different theme, a different topic that they try to tackle, and first season was all about breaking molds and showing people that you have a lot more potential than you know. Second season was showing everyone that you're not perfect, and everybody is very, very, mental illness is an illness. And this season, it's more about, you can do it on your own, and you're a lot stronger than you are. And so it was really good to see them work in a way where they let everybody breathe. Sometimes in acting, you kind of feel a little bit claustrophobic, where you feel like if I make the wrong move, the director, the producer, or whomever is going to have something to say about it, and it kind of stifles your performance a little bit in whatever way, especially when you're us and you're a bunch of lads that are trying to carve your way out your own little piece of this industry. And for us, people, like the names that you mentioned, to give us the, go ahead,
Yeah.
if you're good, then you're gonna get noticed, and it's gonna be in the show, and that opens up so many possibilities, and so much. Actors, are very fragile creatures. And it's confidence creatures. I mean, it's not same as footballers, so actors that are playing footballers, you can imagine. So it was just to give us dramatic, thespians a platform to be confident and to do our best work. Kudos to them.
just off the back of that, Kola, like I think, as you were saying that, I was realizing that, the response to season 1 and season 2 has allowed our creators to take bigger and bigger swings with season 3. And like that confidence has filtered down to us, like some of the avenues that we're going down with some of these characters now, like we maybe wouldn't have done that in season 1. And so I feel like a lot of that confidence is also being filtered down to us. And you can see that in the performances. We're seeing shades of these characters we've never seen before. And yeah, none of that wouldn't be possible without this renewed confidence that our creators have, that they've given.
Can you imagine Colin, the arc of Colin this season happening in season 1? You couldn't place it there, because it's like he the character needs to, it's like when you're cooking, you need to marinate that chicken, you know what I'm saying?
That's it.
You need to marinate that for 3 seasons at least.
you know what I'm saying? You can't just like, if you go to Harry Potter, you ain't just gonna be out here doing a vodka on the first day of.
Do you
know what I mean? He needs to learn.
It's the evolution.
The characters have been really slow cooked.
On your stripes.
That's like I feel so lucky that I obviously came in season 1, and then I've been able to look and be like, okay, watching Toheeb's moments last season, watching Kola having a little bit, Cristo in the early episodes of season 2, and then I was just patiently like waiting for maybe something for me. But I mean, that watching those guys nail everything that they did, it just meant that I had to. And also I could, because I'd watched it time and time again from all of these guys. I had the experience of just like looking at everyone on set, and I was so lucky to have that.
Okay, 2 questions. So Toheeb, is this really it? Is this really the last season? Did you film your last scene?
Oh boy.
Toheeb got the good question.
I don't know. I was at a football game the other day. Me and Billy. Yeah, actually all of us were at this game. I was sat next to Jason. I was trying to like prod information out of him. I was like, chat to me, man. What's going on? Are we actually going to carry on or not? But I keep going back and forth, man. Like, I don't know. I think there's something really beautiful about the Lasso way, and we know the Lasso way. And, like we're starting to see that like the players don't like need Ted anymore in the same way that we did in the first season. Like for all of our characters, like we can all stand on our own 2 feet now. Like, thinking about Sam, for instance, like the kid that we met in season 1 is not the kid that we have now in season 3. He's a business owner. He can, like he's like one of the leaders on the team now. He's vocal. Like it feels like they've got it, and they can be their own people now. So if it did end here, I think there's a part of me that'd be like, there's something really gorgeous to that. Of course, I'd love to carry on though, and I think I'd leave that to Jason and to Brendan and to Joe and all our other creators. And if they feel like there's more, then if they call, I'm going to be there. But if not, I think there's something really lovely about all of us getting to go off and spread our wings.
All right, last question I'm going to throw to you, Billy. Like, for someone who hasn't seen season 3 yet, or someone who has seen it, but maybe should watch it again, which is a great idea, because I definitely re-binged seasons 1 and 2 a couple of times. What would you say to people to sort of like, like dive in and binge on season 3 of Ted Lasso?
Yeah, I think that if you want to see a show where you're looking at people that are a bit unsure in their own world, in their own life, and underdogs that just don't necessarily believe in themselves wholeheartedly, but have a really, really amazing group of people around them. I think you can, although this is a this is a show about a football team, it's a work-based comedy at the end of the day as well. So you can take and put it in, you can take all of this and put it into your office, or see people that you see in your office that are like, oh, he's like that guy. Oh, James is like Danny Rojas. He's the Danny Rojas of the office, and I think I'm sure we all have those. We all have those people in our workplace. So yeah, if you want to see a work-based comedy when you finished work that makes you feel a bit good about life, then go for it.
Well, on that note, thank you all so very much. Thanks to our friends at Apple TV Plus for making this conversation possible. Thank you Toheeb Jimoh, Kola Bokinni, Billy Harris, Cristo Fernandez, and to everyone watching, thank you for joining us for Half Hour With, and we will see you next time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.